Some days being a Miami Dolphins fan means living with your heart in your throat. And today is one of those days. 3 stories, 3 waves of pure energy, mixing pride, tension, and that feeling that something big is about to hit Miami. We had an unexpected hero, a wild locker room twist, and even a player feeling regret far away from the sunshine of South Florida. But hold on, because the best part is still coming. You won't believe what we've got today. So sit tight, drop a like, and let's jump straight into the news. You can't talk about this winning streak without starting with the soul of this team, the defense. Anyone who watched the game against the Saints felt that spark of pride only Dolphins fans understand. It was grit, discipline, and cold blood in moments where everything could have slipped. Every snap looked like Miami wanted to prove they weren't just back in the fight. They were back to scaring anyone who tries to challenge South Florida. The first half was basically a masterclass in defensive control. The front line shut down the run game and forced New Orleans to lean on rookie Tyler Shaw to dig them out of trouble. And just when he started finding a rhythm, the whole script flipped. Rasul Douglas, playing at an elite level all year, jumped a route like he was reading it off a page. The interception set up an easy field goal, stretched the lead, and fired up the entire sideline. But football loves to test your nerves. In the second half, the defense slipped a bit, and the Saints climbed back into it. They were down 2, and the tension was thick. Dolphins fans know that stomach drop feeling. That's when Minkah Fitzpatrick decided to write the moment of the game. He read a bad throw with the instincts of a hunter, snatched the ball, and took it back 100 yards to the end zone. 2 more points, lead extended, and the stadium erupted. Even then, it wasn't over. The Saints recovered the onside kick and got into Miami territory with under a minute left. Defense gassed, crowd holding its breath. On 4th down, Shaw tried a classic sneak, and Miami's wall closed the door. Game over. Conversation over. Those moments aren't luck. They're a pattern. Against Washington, Jack Jones blocked the game-winning kick. Against Buffalo, Miami forced 3 turnovers, including Jordan Brooks ripping the ball out of Josh Allen's hands when the Bills were about to tie it. And every Dolphins fan remembers Jones taking a sure touchdown away from Breece Hall at the goal line against the Jets. This defense isn't perfect, but it's clutch. It knows exactly when to show up. That's what separates a roster that hopes from a roster that believes. With 3 straight wins and confidence rising, the message is loud and clear. If Miami wants to keep climbing, they'll need more of those destiny-shifting plays. In the end, the identity of this group is simple. Make the big play when the world feels like it's collapsing. That's how a defense becomes a legend. There are moments when a franchise has to look itself in the mirror and decide who it really is. That's exactly what happened after that painful loss to the Ravens back in late October. A 28-6 beating that sounded like an alarm bell from the deep. Hours later, General Manager Chris Grier stepped down mutually, as they say. But everyone knew the organization needed a shakeup. Most people thought Mike McDaniel was next. It felt like a countdown. And then something unexpected happened. Even with all the rumors about a broken locker room, a quiet bond held firm. The players never stopped believing in McDaniel. He was still the guy who trusted his team, who treated his players like men, not chess pieces. Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated reported that owner Stephen Ross and the front office knew it too. They knew the locker room still backed the coach, even while the losses piled up. That belief changed everything. The Dolphins didn't just respond, they were reborn. 3 straight wins. And not just wins, emotional statements powered by unity. Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of the most respected voices on this roster, shared that the team locked themselves in a room on Halloween. No costumes, no parties. Just a moment of tough love. They looked each other in the eyes and decided the season wasn't done. Miami wouldn't be remembered as the team that fell apart, but the one that flipped the script. This kind of turnaround isn't about schemes or analytics. It's about something internal. Anyone who watched the Saints game saw it. The energy is different. McDaniel's Dolphins are playing with joy again, with intensity and purpose. The offense still makes mistakes, sure, but there's connection now. When Tua Tagovailoa lifts his head after a tough 3rd down, teammates are right there, tapping his shoulder, keeping him going. It feels like family again. And that's what gives this home stretch hope. The schedule isn't easy. Jets, Steelers, Bengals. But nothing scares this group anymore. Confidence is back. DraftKings has Miami favored by 2.5 on the road. And for the first time in a long while, that line feels right. The Dolphins are playing like a team that believes. They may not be the most star-studded roster in the league, but something real is pulsing in that locker room. McDaniel survived the storm and earned something more valuable than any contract, the complete respect of his players. When that happens, you can bet something big is coming. Funny how football loves to teach lessons the hard way. Early in the season, a lot of people looked at the Dolphins and saw instability and rebuilding. Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith thought the grass would be greener in Pittsburgh, that a fresh start would bring new opportunities and wins. Months later, reality painted a different picture. As Miami finds its rhythm again, those two veterans are living the tough side of their decision. And if there's anything sweeter than a winning streak, it's watching respect return while former teammates realize what they walked away from. The Steelers started strong with Aaron Rodgers taking charge and a defense loaded with names. But it only took a few weeks for everything to slip. Mistakes piled up. Chemistry vanished, and Rodgers, never shy about calling things out, started throwing subtle shots and pressers. One of them went straight at Jonnu Smith, saying routes weren't being run as drawn, and that there was a lack of commitment outside practice hours. The frustration was obvious. And the worst part, it sounded exactly like the environment Miami spent the offseason trying to fix. Meanwhile, Ramsey is trying to reinvent himself as more of a free safety. He's still talented, but the truth is he doesn't look like the same dominant presence he was in Miami. Pittsburgh's defense is among the worst in the league in yards and points allowed. It's as if football decided to remind anyone who leaves South Beach that not every place brings the same spark. Comparing the Steelers' situation to Miami's current moment is almost poetic. Pittsburgh doubled down on the same formula Miami abandoned: expensive veterans and an overstuffed project built on old promises. Miami chose real reconstruction, with younger players stepping up and the locker room learning to trust the process. And the result is clear: a team that's not just competing again, but building an identity. It's that us against everybody vibe that brings pride back. Jonnu, who had a strong 2024 in Miami, is putting up softer numbers this season. Fewer touchdowns, fewer yards, less impact. While he searches for answers, the Dolphins keep rising, gearing up to face him again in prime time. And that matchup carries way more than 4 quarters of football. It's a clash of philosophies. One team clinging to a vision Miami already left behind, the other embracing a new version of itself that finally believes again. There's a clear thread running through all these stories. The grass isn't always greener away from home. The difference now is that Miami isn't the punchline anymore. It's the example. And when that game against the Steelers comes around, nobody will see it as just another showdown. It'll be a reminder to the whole league. The team everyone thought was sinking is the one dragging itself back to the surface. 3 stories. 3 signs that the Miami Dolphins believe again. The defense rediscovered its killer instinct, the locker room united around a resilient coach, and even the ones who left are realizing the real heartbeat is here in Miami. This team isn't a promise anymore. It's a challenge. It's resilience. It's heart, on and off the field. So the question is simple. Are you ready to keep believing? If you are, show you're part of this run. Drop that like, hit subscribe, and come ride this journey to the end.